Tonight's top story, how could the North Dakota budget shortfall impact you and your family? Good evening and welcome to 630 Point of View. I'm Chris Berg. Thanks so much for joining us. Earlier today, I sat down and visited with North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple about North Dakota's budget taking a $1 billion hit and what it could mean for you and I, the average Joe and Jane North Dakotan. Governor Dalrymple joins us from Bismarck. Governor Dalrymple, first, thanks so much for joining us. I want to jump right in here, Governor. $1 billion budget shortfall. You get into the budget, and sometimes, like my brain, it sort of shuts off. So I want to start with people's dinner tables. And the biggest question I'm getting from people from the news yesterday about the budget shortfall is, as we head into the next session, will North Dakota be able to maintain the property tax buy-down program?
Well, we're going to be able to continue property tax relief, I'm sure, Chris, whether it's in that form or some other form. And I'm saying that confidently because we have funds that have been set aside for that purpose.
When you say another form, what does that mean specifically?
Well, we would like to get to, a more permanent form of tax relief for the property taxpayer, and we've been looking at, trying to do more of the cost of social services at the state level and relieve that at the county level. And that's a tricky thing to do, but it's more permanent, and it is true property tax relief. It's not just paying the bill on behalf of the taxpayer.
Let's look at some potentially worst-case scenarios. A lot of analysts I've seen have said, hey, oil could clearly go to $10 a barrel, $20 a barrel. If it continues to go in that direction, and let's just say hypothetically the property tax buy-down program isn't viable, what could that potentially mean to a property owner of a $150,000 home? What are they looking at?
Well, I really don't think we're going to, see anything there, at least in the next couple of years, because we have an actual reserve fund for the purpose of property tax relief that is dedicated to that. Looking out longer term, Chris, I have no crystal ball. I think our biggest concern now is that we don't know how long we'll be in a low price environment. It might come back this year, then again it might not.
Let me ask you this, because you hit a very valid point. Commodities are so hard to predict. You look at our relationship with Moody Analytics. For a while there, they were having forecasts where a lot more money was coming in than they forecasted. Now it's obviously less. Is it time to reevaluate that relationship or maybe add more people into the analysis?
Well, I think over the years, Moody's has been extremely accurate in our budget forecasting, and of course, they are just making assumptions about prices. And a year ago, those prices were gone over by our advisory committee, and things change, and that is the whole challenge of it. In this case, oil actually has now, in most parts of the world, gone below the cost of production. And that's usually like kind of the last stages of a commodity cyclical downturn, because we know that at some point soon, people don't produce oil when they're losing money on every barrel.
Governor, I know you talked about the 4% allotments, if you will, and or budget cuts. Is this going to be just straight across the 73 state agencies, or do you have some flexibility here to look at the different agencies and go, hey, maybe you guys cut 2, maybe you cut 8? Is there any flexibility there?
Well, an allotment by definition and by law is the same reduction for every agency, including higher education. Of course, I pointed out yesterday that K-12 education does have a special fund called the Foundation Aid Stabilization Fund that makes them whole under any circumstances. So that's certainly fortuitous, and that's great foresight on the part of past legislatures. But on the other agencies, yes, that allotment is the same. But within any given agency, there's a sizable appropriation Human Services, for instance, $1.3 billion. So they have flexibility, within their own budgets.
Are there any agencies that you may go ask and say, hey, we're going to ask you to cut more or a lot more than the 4%? Could you even do that?
Well, really, the law is very specific on this, that the allotment that is prescribed by law, must be uniform and must be across the board. Of course, this is a short-term, temporary solution. This is not like a permanent budget-making process. It gets us, through this rough spot. But the legislature will be here in December, and they'll soon be back talking about what to do next.
A couple more things, Governor. One is, you look at obviously the price of oil, and it's plummeted, the impact it's had on our state budgets. Back in October of 2015, you were at the forum and said, hey, North Dakota's economic growth stems from nearly every business sector, with no single industry telling the whole story of our state's progress. I look at the information that came out yesterday about our state's budget, and I would say that oil is making a big single point or big single factor in telling at least a big part of the story. Do you still stand by, hey, that we are diversified accordingly in our state right now?
Well, I would say thank goodness we are as diversified as we are, and much more diversified than we were, say, 20 years ago. If we had been the state we were 20 years ago, this would truly be rocking us. But, I got to say, Greg, anytime you go from $100 oil down to $27 oil, that's going to have a well of an impact on your state economy, even if it is just one sector.
Governor, one thing that's been fairly prevalent on our Facebook page about the announcement yesterday with the budget shortfall, and I'm going to ask it this way to you. When you look back at the optics of what you did a while ago and now the current budget reality, looking at today, would you still give out $100,000 in retention bonuses?
Oh, that's, something that took place in the prior biennium. That's not in the biennium that we're in right now. A retention bonus is often misunderstood. It's something that you give a key employee, but they have to do something in return. They have to stay in their job in order to earn that. If they don't get any bonus at all.
So would you do that this biennium, 1, and 2? I agree with you. I think a lot of people do misunderstand it. So if you wouldn't mind sort of explaining, hey, here's the reality of why I did that, I think people would love to hear that.
Well, at the end of the last biennium, we had in the Office of Management and Budget and a couple of other agencies what they call turnback funds. That's just surplus funds that would go back into the state treasury. But there's a special law that says, if you want, you can use them for a retention bonus. So we did that in the case of some key, very, very important state employees. And it's a common practice, Chris, as you know, in the private sector. We see that all the time in companies. Hanging on to key employees is something that I think is in the best interests of the people of North Dakota.
Well, I think when you look at the budget that you're going through, Governor, and the time and the energy it would take for you to retrain somebody, look, I concur with you. My question is, would you do it again this session? If it was today and you were asked this question, hey, you've got a chance to give retention bonuses, would you do it again right now?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I mean, we're not dealing with leftover funds now. We're not talking about surplus funds today. We're talking about a deficit of funds, so completely different situation.
Governor, last question. This is going to be your last executive budget. I'm curious, as we've got 3 people running out on the Republican ticket to become the next executive of our state, and you look out into the future about diversifying and the commodity state that we have, what advice would you give to these candidates about this upcoming budget?
Well, I get a chance to play my role still in the preparation of this budget. I leave office on the 15th of December. I will actually deliver the budget message. And the new governor will have an opportunity to revise it if they so choose. But I think I'll have every opportunity to show them a direction that I think we need to take going forward. It will be a prudent direction. We will not take chances. But I think we can continue a lot of the great progress that we've been making.
One of the big questions, Governor, that people are asking is about the one-time spending. Was the last session of the big one-time spending?
Well, you know, the one-time spending, which we continue to try to explain to people, is turning out to be a really great idea now, because as I said many times over the years, these are not things that we need to repeat in our budget. Our base budget is much, much smaller. But yes, looking forward, the big projects are probably not going to be there for a while. And it's great to look back and say, wow, how much we've been able to accomplish in the last 6 years in infrastructure. Thank goodness we got it done.
Governor Jack Dalrymple, thank you so much for your time, sir. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Yep, you bet, Chris. See you soon.
Thank you. All right, stay with us. We'd love to know your thoughts there on what obviously Governor Jack Dalrymple had to say about the budget shortfalls here in North Dakota. Now, when we come back, we're going to take a look back at last night in the Iowa caucuses. Some of the people were determined by the flip of a coin in Hillary and Bernie Sanders' situation. We'll also look back on Ted Cruz picking up the win on the GOP side. Scott Hennon from AM 1100 The Flag is going to join us. And again, we invite you to share your point of view. Head to our website, 630pov.com. We'll be right back.